With gates being absolutely vital to everybody's progression in solo leveling Arise, a hot topic is which gates should I be completing if I'm playing the game. So we're going to talk about that. I think that this is pretty interesting. Be sure to subscribe if you are new. We're doing a ton of solo leveling Arise content in anticipation of global launch when the game comes out next month worldwide. And I have been having a ton of fun covering it for you guys as well. By the way, if you're new to the channel, as part of my wave of doing videos on this, thank you. I really appreciate it. Seriously. Sincerely, I appreciate it. Okay, so let's dive right in. So the first thing I want to kind of mention is if you have a special gate, red gate, or dungeon break, you pretty much always want to clear those, just for the record. It's extremely straightforward. You pretty much want to clear them, right? Now, if they're too hard for you, you can probably skip them. I'm not sure if you have this free skip option, like 1 out of 1 a day. I don't know. I think this may be exclusive to the paid purchase pack, things like that. So there's that. But nonetheless, if you have the option to sweep it, you can do that as well. But you want to clear these as much as possible because the drops are just better. The special gate, I can't pull it here. It's gonna either be the goblin one, which sucks in my opinion. I hate that stage. Like, it doesn't suck like just the like whatever it drops, but just I hate the stage chasing those goblins around. Or the treasure chest one, which is extremely easy. But the drops there are a little bit different. I don't have the list up here because I've already completed it, unfortunately. But you do also get more gold for that stage. The gold isn't great on any of these stages. The golden experience is pretty negligible on all of these. It's basically in the same range on all these, right? Doesn't matter what you're taking on in that case for those 2 items specifically. What you're looking at when you're taking these on is what it drops, right? As you've seen probably by watching, different things are dropping. For example, this is an extremely high value gate. It's got some amazing drops. It's got an artifact drop potentially. These are not guaranteed. You get some of this stuff, right? It's got the traces, which are extremely hard to get, right? We also have the shadow enhancement stuff there. We've got the skill scrolls for the player, which is really good. Rune fragments, you really want those to keep crafting rune stones. Mark of times, you also really want those too. So this is super premium. You want to play this, right? But obviously yours is going to look a little bit different depending on which difficulty you're playing. Anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, the stuff is pretty negligible. The special gate, however, the one I've cleared, the yellow one, does offer between 5,000 and 7,000 gold, I believe. So keep that in mind. That's not enough. This game has a really big gold issue, and those gates need to offer probably 50k on average is my recommendation, but it's something, I guess, right? Anyway, the most important thing when it comes to this system, I just want to say also, is regardless of, oh, which one should I do? You need to complete 10, period. You just need to complete at least 10 in a day to get all this experience. You want all of this. This is amazing. This is the drops here. You need this, right? To level up your Jinwu faster. You need this. And then when you've completed the first 10, it does shift over to being negligible drops of gold, but it's more gold there, which again is a finite resource in this game. Well, not finite, but it's a very tedious resource in this game. You want to get those as well if possible. Now, after you've completed these 10, it's going to also be kind of hard to do anything more because you're going to be capped out on gate keys. You can go to the shops and exchange for more gate keys if you want to. Your number will increase, I believe, based on your reputation level. I believe that's what determines how many gate keys maximum you have. Or I noticed that my, I think instance dungeon one's gone up too, like things like that. They eventually start going up with more reputation, I believe, unless it's tied to Sung Jinu's level, one of the two. Anywho, speaking of reputation, the red gate offers the most reputation. All the other ones drop 1, so there's that. So anyway, what I would recommend, just generally speaking, is that you subscribe to this channel. About 80% of viewers haven't subscribed, so if that's you, be sure to subscribe. Anyway, what I would recommend for real this time is that every player that completes these gates, aside from just, if you're crunched for time and you just gotta knock them out, okay, go for it, right? But you would want to try to constantly play, like they said, the gold, the special gate, the red gate, or the dungeon break. But you also want to make sure that regardless of level, you want to make sure you're running at least A or S rank dungeons. So that's what I would recommend. I wouldn't really recommend going to these Bs or below, right? Some of this is pretty much the same, but I believe through my own testing, I've only gotten soul essence drops on mining from A or S rank dungeons. Okay, so soul essence mining, it's not the most impactful thing, it's not the most crazy thing, but you do want to get a few soul essences here and there. It goes a long way. It adds up over time. You want that. So that's another reason too. I'm sure that there are other indicators, but that's the most important one that I've noticed. The drops seem to be pretty much the same. However, I'm pretty sure that on a higher rank gate, you have a better chance of dropping more and or better stuff. But nonetheless, also another thing that is spawning here is, as you saw, the mark of time was available on the A rank versus not available on the B rank, for example. So that happens a lot here too. Even the dungeon break, you know, B rank offers this as well, but I think a higher rank one would drop the mark of time. So, all right. So now that I've told you, generally you want to run A and S ranks, and just if you're keeping track, you want to run your dungeon breaks, red gates, and special gates. Well, let's talk about rescanning and other things like that. So rescanning is an interesting function. By the way, the game guide is based on the test version of this game, and that this is not a test version that I'm playing the game. Some people still think it's a beta. It's not a beta. It's out. Anyway, in some places. Anyway, so they say that if you rescan, you will not lose red gates, but I'm pretty sure if I rescan based on what it says here, that I will lose this red gate. So be careful about rescanning, because what it does is it just refreshes the page. And if you really want to min-max your gate farming, whether it's gate mining, gate experience drops, all that stuff I've talked about already, you need to make sure that you are constantly rescanning. And when you rescan, you want to rescan in a range that's feasible for you, especially if you don't have the ability to skip these stages and you have to actually play them. You want to rescan at a level that is feasible for you to probably autoplay. If you don't want to go in and actually play it, to probably autoplay, okay? So keep that in mind, right? You will unlock higher difficulty levels here as you level up Sung Jinu. So I just got level 20 for reaching level 54, I believe. So you will unlock that, and then as you get higher up, obviously the range increases like a madman. This is pretty insane. I don't think this is a fair trade-off. But anyway, you want to just go ahead and do that in the same range that's feasible for you to play in a meaningful way. All right. So now that we've covered pretty much everything pertaining to the gates, what you need to do, which ones to run, I wanted to kind of show you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, the most important thing about the red gates is that they have these other bosses here, like Baruka is dropping here. However, the recommended power is 100k, 100,500. So it's a very high number, but this is an S rank gate. Obviously, this could be a harder gate if it was a higher level, but nonetheless, level 47 S rank gate, I'll take it. That's really, really strong. And as you see, the drops are befitting that. Now, another thing to consider is when you're taking on one of these stages, whether it's this one specifically or like a dungeon break, you have to consider the fact that the bosses are going to be harder than your typical boss. I know, right? So crazy to say, but you want to consider their passives. You want to consider their attributes. For example, Baruka is normally weak to fire in the story content. Here he is weak to the dark element. Now also, when you are taking on other stages like the dungeon break, the bosses will have a crap ton of HP relative to just a normal stage as well. It could be the same rank, it could be whatever, but the dungeon break ones are typically, again, more tedious to complete, so the trade-off is in the reward. Now, at these levels, I'm not seeing any sort of rules, but there will be some inhibitions that they'll place on your team as you progress in higher difficulties. I assume if I were to rescan to level 20, I'd probably see something like that. The game guide says I should already be seeing it, but I don't see it now. So just further proof the game guide is kind of out of date. But nonetheless, you want to play these, right? So that is pretty much my general recommendation. Now, the last thing, while it freezes, I want to mention is, what should you play when it comes down to whether it's the Sung Jinu player stages, right? Or the Hunter ones, right? So we're going to talk about that next here. And I wanted to rescan, so I just sweep this, and this is what I got. So obviously it's a range of stuff. It's not like you're going to get all of that exactly, but hey, I'm not mad at it. I'll take it, whatever. We got the reputation, we got some gold, artifact drops or whatever. The most valuable thing we're getting here is this stuff right here, the scrolls and the fragments. That's the most important reason to run this. And again, you run it several times a day, so it works out pretty well. And I just rescanned to level 20, so let's see the difference between the A rank level 54 Hunter stage versus the A rank level 54 Sung Jinu stage we have as well. So we are dropping the second mark of time now at level 20. I absolutely need that. But look at the power difference. My goodness, I am almost half. Like, that's pretty crazy. Anyway, the drops are basically the same, but we probably have a higher chance, like I said, of dropping some of the better things. And then the Sung Jinu stage, it appears to be basically the same. So it just kind of comes down to it's the same boss as well. Kind of just comes down to what you want to do, it appears, because the results and everything looks like it's basically the same stuff. The experience, the gold, everything is the same. So the item drops is the same too. So it just kind of depends what you want to do. So that should answer the question of what you should even play between the two. And the answer to that would be that it apparently doesn't really matter. If I rescan again, this will cost me some currency, but I'll do it. We'll see if we can compare once again. it probably doesn't matter much. Oh, hey, we spawned an S rank gate here. Goblin, golden goblin. Nice. I'm going to sweep the hell out of that. Thank you. All right, we got one trace. Yeah, these things are really hard to get in standard content like this. We got an S rank Sung Jinu level 55 stage. Let's actually see about the other stages here. C rank, B rank. B ranks here again. So 2 B ranks, same exact stuff. Same bosses and everything. It's the exact same thing. So again, okay, so here's another B rank, but again, the drops are the same. Everything's the same. So it doesn't really matter what you take on. It's at that point, it's just dealer's choice. It's preference. What do you want to play? Unless there's some sort of hidden mechanic that offers, I'm going to do this, don't do this. Unless there's some sort of hidden mechanic that offers an increased item chance drop if you take Sung Jinu in or something like that, that would be the only reason I would recommend that. Now we spawned a B rank Hunter Red Gate. So Ice Bear Alpha, let's see what he has. Basically the same stuff. If I were to go back and check it out in comparison to the Sung Jinu one earlier, this one's actually better because it offers a second mana crystal, and also it has legendary artifacts here. So this is also spawning this way, regardless of the level or rank. It's more so to do with the difficulty we're rescanning at, because the boss is just higher. So you could argue it's a level thing, right? He's level 51 versus level 47 where Baruka was earlier. But when we are rescanning at this high of a difficulty, we're just going to get better drops. So ultimately what that means, and I have to do this again, ultimately what that means is that as you get higher in the game will become much easier to play. So keep that in mind. But nonetheless, I'm going to go ahead and do this one final time. I hope that this was helpful for you in seeing what things kind of look like, right? So let's compare again. We got a D rank Hunter stage, D rank, same deal. So same deal, basically. Doesn't really matter what stage you take on. It's pretty much the same. So you would want to play the higher difficulties, because regardless of what drops, the reason to play the higher difficulties, as I said, I am pretty sure I'm going to complete this instantly. Let's see what we get. Is that you can actually get better rewards here. Actually, let's mine this here just for experimentation. See what we get completing it instantly at B rank gate. I'm just blowing soul essence, by the way. Similar stuff. Got 4 mining experience as well. So the mining experience is this one's gonna be 33. That's fun. We got soul essence there. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, you want to get the soul essence, so at least we're getting a little bit of a refund there. 4 soul essence. It's not the most, but a little bit of a refund. We'll run these 2 gates. We'll actually cancel them here as well. A little bit of experimentation. Actually, you know what? I don't even need to experiment because it says you can get them right here. I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I was like, I'm pretty sure that, you can't do it from lower rarities, but, let's run this B rank one. Let's sweep it and see what it says. This is blowing soul essences. Let's do this really quick. This would be the be all end all. Let's see what it does. Oh, no, go back. Why did you shoot me out? Go back. Yeah, so it's yeah. You want to, I'm pretty sure it's A and S for the soul essence. But I mean, that's not the craziest thing. I mean, the rest of it, I'm pretty sure is basically the same. If I were to mine and then complete this, I'm pretty sure it's basically the same. Let's complete it really quick, and that'll be our last test. Yeah, it's basically the same. You got the same mana crystals, gold, basically the same stuff. The only reason to do what I've done is to level this up faster. So I guess this is the last little thing to mention. As this levels up, you get a bunch of perks. Very, very, very straightforward. Very straightforward. So ultimately, to recap one final time, play higher level / higher rank stages in general. But above all else, the most important objective that you have is simply completing 10 of these in a day, because you want to do that minimum, right? Now, next off, if you are in a hurry, just complete whatever you have. You need to do that at the bare minimum. You need to complete what's available to you. If you have the gold gates, the red gates, or the purple gates, you want to complete them as well. Also, depending on if you are trying to just kind of blitz through these, depending on what they drop, that should help you determine which stages to run. Like, for example, I'm going to run this because I want to see if I can get the mark of time, right? That's not on some of these lower difficulty ones, right? So keep that in mind as well. All right, I feel like we've covered pretty much everything that there is to cover when it comes to the gates in Solo Leveling Rise. In today's video, we answered the question, in my opinion, which gates should you guys run? So if this video was helpful for you guys, we also even tacked in a little bit of live experimenting. If it was helpful for you guys, be sure to subscribe. Stick around for more content going forward. Have an awesome day, and I will see you all next time.